When a human child is abducted from Earth by the advanced and enigmatic Tharynx race, the galaxy witnesses an unprecedented experiment, raising a human outside of humanity's culture and constraints. Years later, the child, now a young adult named Kaelion, must choose between the alien civilization that nurtured him and the humanity he's been taught to see as primitive and dangerous. Earth's night sky glittered with stars, but no one noticed the faint streak of light that cut across the atmosphere. In the sleepy suburbs of Kansas, a small boy lay dreaming in his bed as his family slept soundly in the rooms next door. The alien ship, sleek and silent, hovered just above the house. Within moments, a beam of light enveloped the child, and he was gone. The Tharynx, an ancient and powerful species with a crystalline physiology, operated not on malice, but curiosity. Humanity, in its infancy on the galactic stage, had yet to grasp the intricacies of interstellar politics. To the Tharynx, humans were both intriguing and dangerous, a species with untapped potential that could one day challenge even the most advanced civilizations. Kaelion was not his original name. When the Tharynx took him, they wiped away his memories of Earth to give him a pure upbringing. Raised among beings who communicated through shimmering patterns of light and resonant hums, Kaelion quickly adapted to their ways. His body, though human, was augmented with Tharynx biocrystals, allowing him to comprehend their language and survive in their unique environment. He was taught that humanity was reckless, warlike, and incapable of unity. The Tharynx showed him images of Earth's conflicts, environmental destruction, and fractured governments. "They are bound to destroy themselves," his guardian Valen would say. "We raised you to be better." Kaelion grew up believing he was chosen to be part of something greater. The Tharynx taught him their ways of harmony, logic, and the manipulation of crystalline technology. He became an emissary of sorts, tasked with understanding other species and resolving conflicts on behalf of the Tharynx. Yet, despite his gifts, there was always a nagging void in his heart, a feeling that he didn't belong. On his 21st cycle, Kaelion was sent to mediate a trade dispute between two warring species near Earth's solar system. It was his first encounter with the planet of his birth. The Tharynx ship hovered in orbit, hidden from view, but Kaelion couldn't tear his eyes away from the blue-green sphere below. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Valen's voice hummed in his mind. "But beauty often hides danger." Kaelion felt a strange pull, a longing he couldn't explain. "Why did we never make contact with them directly?" he asked. Valen hesitated. "They are not ready. Their emotions cloud their judgment. Their violence knows no bounds. You've seen the records, Kaelion." Kaelion nodded but remained silent, staring at Earth. Deep inside, something stirred. The mission took an unexpected turn. While monitoring the dispute, the Tharynx ship was ambushed by a rogue faction of humans piloting salvaged alien technology. The attackers, believing the Tharynx to be hostile invaders, boarded the ship. Kaelion, unfamiliar with humans but bound by Tharynx teachings, approached the intruders peacefully. "You don't need to do this," he said in perfect English, his voice calm but commanding. The leader of the group, a grizzled woman named Commander Lila Carter, froze. "How are you speaking our language?" "I was taught," Kaelion said, his crystalline augmentations glowing faintly. "You've misunderstood. The Tharynx mean you no harm." Lila's eyes narrowed. "Taught by whom?" "You're human." The word hit Kaelion like a shockwave. He had known, logically, that his body was human, but hearing it from another person felt different. He faltered. "I was raised by the Tharynx." Lila lowered her weapon slightly. "They took you, didn't they?" Kaelion hesitated. "They saved me. They gave me a purpose, a home." "They stole you," Lila said, her voice trembling with anger. "You belong on Earth with your people." Valen's voice echoed in Kaelion's mind. "Do not listen to them, Kaelion. They will twist the truth to suit their agenda. Remember what we taught you." But the more Lila spoke, the more questions arose. Who had he been before the Tharynx? What had he lost when they took him? Kaelion was torn. He felt loyalty to the Tharynx, who had raised him with care and wisdom. Yet the humans, with their fierce determination and raw emotion stirred something within him. Lila extended a hand. "Come with us. We can show you who you were, who you're meant to be." Valen's voice sharpened. "They will destroy you, Kaelion. Do not fall prey to their chaos." Kaelion's gaze shifted between Lila and Valen's holographic projection. For the first time in his life, he had to make a choice not guided by the Tharynx. He stepped toward Lila. "I need to know the truth." Valen's light dimmed, the disappointment palpable. "You are making a grave mistake." Kaelion boarded the human ship, his crystalline augmentations glowing faintly in the dim light. As they sped toward Earth, he gazed out at the stars, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. What awaited him on the planet of his birth? Answers? Or more questions? The human ship, resolute, descended through Earth's atmosphere. Kaelion stood by a viewport watching as sprawling cities, oceans, and mountains came into view. It was overwhelming, beautiful, yet chaotic. The Tharynx cities he had known were pristine and symmetrical, reflecting their philosophy of order. Earth's cities, by contrast, seemed alive with unbridled energy, full of lights and movement. Lila Carter stood beside him, her expression unreadable. "How much do you remember?" she asked. "Nothing," Kaelion admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "The Tharynx erased my memories of Earth. I didn't even know I was human until now." Lila studied him, her sharp eyes softening slightly. "We'll help you remember, but first you need to see what they took from you." The Resolute landed in a secure military facility. Kaelion was escorted through sterile corridors, the walls lined with monitors displaying news feeds, images of Earth, and detailed data on the Tharynx. Scientists and officers stared as he passed, their expressions ranging from awe to suspicion. Finally, they entered a small room. On a table lay a folder labeled Project Reclamation, Case 07. Lila handed it to him. "These are your records," she said. "Your name was Lucas Carter. You were 6 years old when you disappeared. Your family searched for years before they finally gave up hope." Kaelion's hands trembled as he opened the folder. Inside were photographs of a boy with bright eyes and a wide smile, a boy he didn't recognize but somehow felt connected to. There were letters from his parents, pleading for his safe return, and reports from investigators who had found nothing but dead ends. "This is who you were," Lila said gently. "And this is the family that loved you." The revelation was a tidal wave of emotions. Anger at the Tharynx for taking him, guilt for the pain his disappearance had caused, and confusion about where he truly belonged. "I need to see them," Kaelion said, his voice thick with emotion. Lila hesitated. "Your parents, they passed away a few years ago, but you have a younger sister, Emma. She was born after you were taken. She's the one who pushed for this program, to find the lost." Kaelion's chest tightened. "She doesn't even know me." "She knows enough," Lila said. "She's been waiting for this moment her entire life." Kaelion was taken to a quiet suburban neighborhood. The house was modest but warm, its front yard adorned with blooming flowers. Lila stayed behind as Kaelion walked up the steps, his heart pounding. The door opened before he could knock. A woman in her late 20s stood there, her eyes wide with shock and recognition. "Lucas," she whispered, her voice trembling. Kaelion swallowed hard. I don't remember you, but I think I'm supposed to." Tears welled in her eyes as she reached out to touch his face, as if confirming he was real. "I've been looking for you my whole life," she said. "You're home now." The reunion was bittersweet. Emma shared stories of their parents and showed him mementos of the life he had left behind. Kaelion listened intently, but the memories felt distant, like someone else's story. Later that evening, as they sat together on the porch, Kaelion finally spoke. "I don't know if I belong here. The Tharynx. They raised me. They made me who I am." Emma frowned. "They took you, Lucas. They stole your life, your family. How can you still feel loyal to them?" "They weren't cruel," Kaelion said. "They taught me things humanity isn't ready to understand. But they also kept the truth from me. I don't know what to believe anymore. As the days passed, Kaelion struggled to reconcile the two halves of himself. On Earth, he felt a connection to humanity's raw, untamed spirit. Yet he couldn't ignore the influence of the Tharynx, their wisdom, their teachings, and the crystalline augmentations that still pulsed within him. His conflict deepened when a Tharynx ship appeared in orbit, broadcasting a message directly to him. "Kaelion," Valen's voice resonated, calm yet urgent. "We did what we believed was right. Humanity is a species on the brink of self-destruction. We raised you to be more, to guide them when the time comes. But you are in danger now. Return to us." The message sent ripples through Earth's leadership. Some saw the Tharynx as a threat, others as a misunderstood force. For Kaelion, it was a choice that would define his future. In a tense meeting with Lila, Emma, and Earth's officials, Kaelion laid out his dilemma. "If I go back to the Tharynx, I can learn more about their plans and ensure they don't harm Earth. But if I stay here, I may never fully understand who I've become." Emma grabbed his hand. "Stay. We need you here." Lila nodded. "You could be the bridge between our species. But if you leave, we lose that chance." Kaelion looked at the faces around him, torn between the life he was rediscovering and the one he had known for so long. Finally, he stood. "I'll meet with the Tharynx, not as their child, but as a human. If they truly want peace, they'll listen." Kaelion boarded a shuttle and ascended into orbit. As he approached the Tharynx ship, his heart was heavy with uncertainty. Would they welcome him back or see him as a traitor? The airlock opened, and Valen stood there, her crystalline form glowing faintly. "You've changed," she said, her voice almost sad. "So have you," Kaelion replied. The reunion wasn't an end. It was a beginning. Kaelion's journey had brought him to the threshold of two worlds, and his choices would shape the future of both.